The final fate of the Straw Hat Pirates and the other characters in One Piece is uncertain. We don't know exactly what the end of the work may be, but until these events come, we can theorize about possible events that may happen. In today's video, we are going to talk about the possible characters that might date Luffy and even get married during the ending of One Piece, and we would talk about the relationship that Luffy has with these characters. Guys, let's start talking about Nami and her relationship with Luffy nowadays. During the course of One Piece, we saw that Nami and Luffy are very good friends. Although Nami always picks on Luffy because of his crazy ideas, Nami and Luffy share one of the closest relationships among the Straw Hat Pirates, possessing a mutual trust in each other, with Luffy relying on Nami as the Straw Hat Pirates' navigator, while Nami trusts Luffy as a pillar. The two are often seen arguing due to Nami being frustrated with Luffy's antics and stupidity, and Luffy being annoyed with Nami for being arrogant and ruining their fun. However, they care deeply for each other and balance each other out. Luffy is the fighter and Nami is the thinker. Nami often tends to make sure Luffy doesn't do anything too reckless, having to explain to Luffy why he can't do some of the crazy things he wants to do and often scolding him for his careless actions, big or small. For Nami, Luffy is the person she can turn to and trust when she is emotionally distressed or afraid, and Luffy always comforts her in those moments when she is having these problems. Nami rarely doubts Luffy in a fight and is often impressed and inspired by his achievements, strength, and determination. Despite her faith in him, she is regularly worried about Luffy and tries to take care of him. Luffy has absolute loyalty and faith in Nami and has never doubted her, even when she betrayed him. Luffy's opinion of her did not waver, and he remained determined to have her in his crew, despite Zoro and Usopp's protests, stating that he would not accept anyone else as his navigator. Throughout his adventures, Nami was the only person to whom Luffy repeatedly gave his straw hat, either to use as a source of comfort before fighting or to take care of it, really showing that Luffy trusts her. Nami noticeably enjoys seeing Luffy happy, as she can't help but smile while listening to him, just as Luffy is also happy to see her happy, potentially becoming an even stronger bond between them in the future. The next character we will talk about is Nico Robin. Of all the members of his team, Robin is the one with whom he shares a complete and healthy relationship, as the two get along extremely well and have yet to be seen arguing. After she joined the Straw Hats, Nico Robin remained a trusted and devoted friend to Luffy, even willing to give her life to help Luffy face a difficult situation. Both care deeply for each other and respect each other's abilities. Among the Straw Hat Pirates, Nico Robin is by far the most patient and calm with Luffy. She is not the least bit irritated by his stupidity, recklessness, or carelessness, unlike the rest of the crew, and, in fact, seems to admire these qualities. She tends to smile through Luffy's mischief. She also has a great interest in Luffy since they met, liking the Straw Hat Captain's bold and direct personality. This interest in her captain has been prevalent since she met him, and while talking with Ganfall and Skypiea, she acknowledged his comment about Luffy's strange aurora that reminds him of Goody Roger, telling him that Luffy is a very interesting person. While this interest was an initial motive behind her decision to join his crew, she has come to see Luffy as a genuinely close friend, being very grateful to Luffy for saving her life twice. Similar to Zoro, she completely accepts Luffy's decisions as captain and does not hesitate in any situation she is put in by his reckless adventures. She is often among the first people to follow Luffy into battle and is fully prepared to face whoever is put in her way to help him. Luffy cares immensely for Robin and will not tolerate anyone hurting her or taking her away. He has faith in her abilities as a fighter and trusts her whenever she goes out alone to complete tasks. Robin often takes on some of Luffy's habits, such as repeating appellidos that he assigned to people, often annoying people just as Luffy does, possessing a great similarity in this respect. Both have a very pleasant relationship to see, having divergent personalities, but that match very well together, causing both to create a great friendship that may form into a relationship in the future. Now let's talk about Nefertari Vivi, the princess of the Alabasta Kingdom. She and Luffy are close friends, even though they started out as enemies, but have developed a friendship during the events in Alabasta. Vivi trusts him completely and finds it amazing how strong he is. Meanwhile, Luffy sees Vivi as an extremely kind person and someone he wishes to be by his side. Luffy was even disappointed when she didn't join his crew. Vivi is often surprised by Luffy's laid-back laid-back attitude and lack of concern for the dangerous situations he finds himself in. Vivi even copies Luffy's pranks, like when he grabbed Usopp by the nose and she started doing the same. She often gets worried about Luffy because of how hard he works and felt the need to watch him so that nothing bad happens to him. Vivi even puts her life in danger to save Luffy. She became so close to Luffy and the others that she was almost willing to abandon her life as a princess and continue sailing with them, but chose not to do so in the end, since she needed to take care of her kingdom. But even though she is not in the crew of the Straw Hat Pirates, Vivi keeps watching Luffy's adventures through the wanted posters of the Straw Hat Pirates, and even through the news in which there was constantly some topic about the Straw Hat Pirates. Luffy really cares for Vivi's company, even at the end of the Alabasta saga. He begged her to join his crew, although Vivi wished to join them permanently. She, with a heavy heart, refused due to her responsibilities as princess. This upset Luffy as he wanted to continue their adventures together. However, he sees her as an honorary member of the Straw Hats and appreciates the time he shared with her as part of the crew. When news reached the crew that Vivi was missing after the level in which Sabo attacked, Luffy tried to go directly to Alabasta and then married Joyce to save her until Zoro managed to remind him that, similar to Ace, they should have faith in their powers to defend themselves. This means that in the future they may meet again at some point, allowing Vivi to bond even more with Luffy, thus turning this friendship into something more in the future. Now let's talk about a character who is getting a lot of focus in this new arc and who is slowly becoming a great friend of Luffy. We're talking about Jewelry Bonnie, the captain of the Bonnie Pirates. Although they did not interact before the time skip, Bonnie was shown to be excited to learn that Luffy had attacked a celestial dragon, causing the Marines to be called to the scene. After the Dressrosa arc, we saw that Bonnie praised Luffy for defeating Doflamingo, showing that he was already keeping an eye on Luffy's actions now that he was gaining a great reputation in the world. After entering Dr. Vegapunk's territory, Luffy ended up saving Bonnie from drowning after she escaped from the mouth of a mecha shark, after which she showed gratitude for having her life saved, but reminded him that they are rivals. Despite being rivals, they get along very well together, sharing information, helping each other to face enemies, and even eating together at certain times. It is still too early to talk about this relationship between these two characters, but as it is happening, Luffy has even given Bonnie a nickname, calling her Bogey, so we can see that Luffy already considers her an ally. Finally, let's talk about Boa Hancock, the Empress of Amazon Lily. As we saw during the work of One Piece, Hancock fell in love with Luffy after initially trying to take his life. Their relationship is often defined by her complete and growing love for him, while he remains indifferent to her feelings, since he hardly shows any feelings of love for anyone. Hancock's love for Luffy goes to extremes, leaving his normally stoic and serious demeanor whenever he is in his presence, and often acts like a little girl in love. Because of her intense love for him, Hancock helps him whenever possible, helping him face powerful enemies and even offering resources so that Luffy and his crew can continue on their journey. Luffy, on the other hand, originally disliked Hancock and believed her to be a cruel person for attacking members of his own tribe for simply defending him. However, he begins to like her after being offered to save 3 girls, finding it a kind act coming from Hancock, despite Luffy rejecting her proposals. Hancock's love for Luffy only increased during the time skip, and with each refusal, she only becomes more determined to marry him. Although he refuses to marry her, he is still happy for the things Boa Hancock has already done for him and hopes to see her again someday. Recently in the manga, after the invasion of the Marines and Blackbeard's pirates, Hancock decided to reunite with Luffy. So very soon we will see a new meeting between Luffy and Hancock, making this relationship they have even more concrete.